go. A Slayer. 1761. Okay, we'll play a Queen's Gambit. It takes. Okay, bring the knight out. Yeah, it's important to bring the knight out to stop this move here. Then, since he's pinned my knight already, I'll just play here, supporting the center pawn solidly and attacking this one. And we'll get castled. And we will kick this bishop. Ask it if it wants to stay on that side of the board. It does. Okay, I can always bring my bishop back to break the pin if I want to. Bring the knight out. I think I want to push those pawns in the center. When I go here, it's threatening the fork, so he will react in some way. Usually e5 is the move. He knows his moves. Okay. I wonder if I could do something a little different here. Say I put my knight here. If he takes, I can take back with the bishop. He takes the pawn, I can take with the queen, but then this will be loose. Well, it won't be loose, but he can take and mess up my pawn structure, not especially like that. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to break the pin. He could take my knight first, and take the pawn and fork the queen and the bishop, but the queen can run back here. Yeah, we're going to break the pin here. He was very persistent with that, trying to exploit that pin. So he changed his focus. So if I play here, he takes back with the bishop. I guess I could put my bishop here to defend this pawn. Let's see, he could take a bunch of things here, right? I guess I have to take first. Oh, I could have just defended with the pawn myself. That would have worked too. Okay, so maybe that maybe that queen trade wasn't necessary. Probably wasn't best. Anyway, we're just going to try and get developed here. And created weaknesses around my king side, so that is a potential problem. So let's get rid of that bishop. It's got two attackers and two defenders. I see. If I go there, he will take this pawn. So let's attack the knight and the rook simultaneously. If he takes the bishop, I'll take the rook. If he takes the bishop with the knight, if he takes the bishop with the rook, I'll take the rook again with my knight. And he can't really move this knight with check. So I think, yeah, maybe he played that move a little quick. It's probably not worth a piece. Taking that pawn is not worth a piece. Okay, we'll step back. Yeah, he pinned my knight. Let's activate this rook. He pinned my knight, but he can't really attack it. The most he could gain there would be a pawn after trading a bishop for a knight. And I want to chase this rook off the back row here. Yeah. I want that rook gone, so I can start roaming with my rooks, grab some pawns. He checks me. Yeah, he just trades. Does that matter? He's going to bring, I see, he's going to bring the rook back, huh? That doesn't matter too much, but I will lose a pawn, sadly, because I'll bring the rook here. No, I can push this pawn. He's not, I mean, he's attacking my bishop, but he can't win it because I can defend it. Okay, so if I put my rook here and he checks, it would be trouble. Trouble. Well, yeah, even if I block with the bishop. Yeah, let's put the bishop here. That'll be a nice spot for it. So this stuff is all protected now. And let's see, I can take another pawn here. Can bring this rook in. Doesn't really do anything, so I will lift my rook up. Pawn comes forward, I'll take it with the pawn. Even if he has that pawn there, I can take with the king, so it's not really helping. The fact that this bishop is pinned, he's trying to exploit that, push this pawn, but I can just take and take. I can just take twice. See where the king wants to go. Okay. Might as well keep that pawn defended. Yeah, like I said, this doesn't really do anything. Does let him play some more checks, I guess. What to do now? inch forward with the pawn. Inch by inch, step by step. I have two more pawns if that one gets traded off. So it's not much trouble. He can check me here. Take my rook. I'll take with the pawn. Then he can take this pawn. But those pawns keep coming forward. And, you know, the more rooks that get traded out, the easier my winning chances are. As long as I keep a pawn on the board, it'll be an easy win. Well, there's also the fact that the rook pawn is on the same square as the bishop. Okay, does it that way. That's another way to do it. Yeah, put the rook here to keep his king out of this area. But like I said, he could win a pawn, but he had to trade off a rook to do it. He could have checked me here again, because my pawn was undefended, and I was bluffing a little bit there. Okay, now I can't stop this pawn from queening. Whoa. Okay. Bishop here, queen here. Well, let's go here with the queen. Let's see where he goes. He's got to be careful. There's a lot of checks that pick up the rook like this one. Can't just move anywhere. Okay, put the queen here. He only has one move, and then here is checkmate. So he resigned. I just want to look at that one situation there near the end. I mean, so the key to winning here is getting that pawn through. And originally I intended to step forward like this, but then he takes the pawn. So if he keeps checking me, I have to actually go behind the pawn. What does this mean? How do I make progress in this situation with the bishop? I mean, the king is cut off, which is nice. So maybe I go here. If he attacks the bishop, I'll step back here. Goes back here, I'll step here. Then I can step forward more. If he goes here, I can push the pawn. So let's say he just moves his king. Then I can step over on this side. The purpose of the rook coming here was to prevent my king from stepping to the side. And then at this point, it's I'm too far forward. Rook has to move. Yep. If he he had gone here, I could have moved the pawn forward. So he does this to stop my pawn. Let's see if he still wants to stop it. Well, he goes here. You know what I do? I do this with the bishop behind it. That will be an easy win. I don't know, sometimes it can be a little tricky figuring out how to get your pawn forward. Just take your time. You have the time, so that's why you play with an increment. Just don't play moves that lose material, and keep making slow progress, and you'll eventually work your way through. Okay, let's see if we can get a rapid game here. Here we go. Ismail. Your turn, Ismail. Oh, he moved just in time. Back to a Sicilian. Okay, we got some normal moves so far. The open Sicilian. Yeah, and so now I have a choice between playing the Najdorf, the Dragon, the Scheveningen, or the Classical, which I play the Classical. Maybe I should try one of those other systems once in a while, but I find this interesting. So I think it's best to block this bishop right away. Yeah, he's playing a very aggressive setup with white, but the most aggressive possible positioning of the bishops. In fact, I've even tried that myself with white, but I've learned that those bishops are a bit exposed, so it's actually not the best setup. It's aggressive, but not the best. But he could castle kingside. It'd be like a Fischer-Sozin attack, but with the bishop out here. The bishop here is the Fischer-Sozin and castling kingside, but usually not with the bishop on g5. So it's my turn. Should I just castle, or can I do something? Knight here would attack his bishop. Also knight here. He could play the bishop here with check. Let's kick this once and see if he intends to take. Well, he does pause to think. It's a rapid game, so he should do that. That is correct. The queen is occupied. It's got to defend this knight, at least until he decides to resolve it here or retreat. Sometimes I like to push this pawn and then retreat the knight behind it. But at the moment, he's got to deal with the bishop. If he takes and I take back, then this becomes weaker, but I don't know if he can really exploit it right away. I can bring the bishop back to defend it if he attacks it. Maybe he's trying to calculate out something like that, but you know, bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop, knight to b5, attacking the pawn, so it's got queen and knight attacking it, and I just bring the bishop back. I've got bishop and queen defending it. I think that's okay. Sacrifices here are always something worth considering when you have this setup. But I have the bishop defending this square. It's important not to develop this too soon, actually. Contrary to most openings where you want to develop your pieces, the bishop on c8 is actually an important defender of the king, or the center, the small center there. Okay, that's a little bit excessive in terms of time. 2 minutes for one move this early in the game. I mean, it's only move 8. Well, I'm going to claim victory here since my opponent made me wait for almost 10 minutes. And I don't know, maybe he was having network problems. I don't want to say anything else. Let's play another game. Let's play a rapid game this time so I don't have to wait 10 minutes. I'll have to wait at most 5 minutes. Reti, maybe? Christ 24, 1872. Okay, should be a good game. Ooh, goes for d5, so I can play the Reti gambit. But he just defends, he doesn't push. I'll fianchetto the bishop, I guess. And I can do a double fianchetto. I have to be careful now when this knight moves. If it moves with tempo, there'll be an attack on this bishop. But it's not a problem just yet. In fact, let's keep the knight out of this square. Okay, so he's going for a trade of the light squared bishops. The light squared bishops. But he doesn't take right away. Okay, this gives me some possibilities. Like moving the knight out attacks this. Also, any move that distracts the queen will attack that. First, let's defend my bishop. He decided to take. Yeah, I was just wondering if knight here was possible, hitting the queen, but I think the queen had some moves. Maybe we'll look at that with the engine after the game. We'll see. I know sometimes I promise to look at things and then I forget. Okay, what am I doing here now? I have this set up. I could try and keep the dark squares open. Let's punch that. I mean, the other option would be to play d4 here. Just go for typical big center queen's pawn type of game, but with the fianchetto here and the light squared bishops traded off. Anyway, it's kind of an asking move, asking him where he's going to put that queen. It doesn't, I really don't know where he's going to move the queen to, and I was a little bit curious. I could bring this knight out here, support this knight, push this pawn so that I would have a retreat square for this knight. It can't, it can't be attacked immediately. So if the queen goes there, knight here attacks the queen again. And he can't really attack my knight until he moves his knight. So I guess this will lead to trades. Maybe kind of a dull way to play, but I didn't see anything better. And I should be okay here. And the knight could go back to this square. Yeah, I think I should just go ahead with this. Typical queen's pawn structure. Now the bishops are gone. Don't need to worry about blocking the diagonal. I should just take the space in the center. Get the queen off the back rank. Let's see, his knight. Maybe coming here. Maybe coming here. I don't know. If it goes here, yeah, my plan is to drop the queen back. It was a double attack on the queen and the pawn, but the queen defends the pawn, so it's all right. And then his knight really has nowhere to go from there. Except back, yeah. So, yeah, I'll just prevent that and then put my queen back where I had it. Yeah, my idea is to push the e-pawn. Oh my. Does he really think this position is so good for him that he can do that? Well, you shouldn't back down from something like that. If I go here, he can play here, then I can go here. I can't go there. That was a funny hallucination. I thought I could go here. So let's get my knight out of trouble, huh? Let's see, yeah, probably pawn here, knight coming around like this. Or just going directly to this square. Yeah, I agree. That's a good file for a rook. Good point. That's where you should place your rook. So maybe someone who likes endgames. He's a strong player, so maybe this is his technique for winning, trading into some kind of rook endgame with the knight. And then just using a superior positional judgment, outplaying his opponent. So I'm doubling my rooks first, that's my idea, and then here to here, and then here, and then here. So I have a long-term plan. I don't know if I want the knight to go there. He probably would just trade it off. Maybe after the knight is here, let's erase. Maybe after I get the knight to this square and I get my rooks doubled, maybe I just push the pawn. Anyway, good endgame play from my opponent, getting his king up here. And putting the knight here directly, one, he might trade it, and two, he could just kick it. Yeah, he just prevents me from going here. I don't have to be in a hurry to move my knight. Let's do the doubling here. Now, should I push first or should I wait? Push, he takes, I take. The knight moves there. And I bring my knight out. He brings his rook in here. Yeah, bringing his rook in is a bit of a problem, isn't it? If I push this pawn, he takes, I'll take back. Takes here, I take back. Or he advances. If I had a knight here all ready to jump in, then the knight could go to this square. The knight could go to this square, which would have defended this pawn. So maybe I should have maneuvered my knight first. Okay, so he's got a fork that he's spotted. He can play here. So let's get things rolling. Better get things moving. So yeah, I think it would have been better if I had maneuvered my knight first before doing all this pawn stuff. So I go here, he takes, I take with check. Maybe he's putting his knight here, or he could be grabbing the pawn, but we'll wait and see. He is putting the knight there. Okay, so I was going to take here. And then put my knight here. Yeah, it looks like he's heading for a rook and pawn endgame where he's slightly better. Maybe even a pawn up if he grabs this pawn, which I think he can do because that goes with check. I had to respond there. Maybe not. Yeah, it's just even. Better rook position. Okay, so do I bring the king around? Let's see if I can engineer a breakthrough on this side. If I push, he can take and then I can bring my king up. Or if he pushes, then I can take. He takes, and then this goes through. So I guess he has to take here. He can't push. Yep. Covering this square. Covering the rook. So he gets a passed pawn over here and I get one over here. Ah, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that at all. Let's see, what can I do? Well, I can just go for a draw this way. Yeah, there was nothing to be done there. So he might have been a good in-game player, but he didn't manage to convert that one. So I feel okay about that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these games, and I'll see you next time. Bye.